Sometimes I feel like we can see the outcome of a decision before we make it. So we'd better make choices that produce the outcomes we want. Ever since I can remember, I've always been a super future-focused person. I would say I was good at thinking about who I wanted to be like in the future and making decisions based on whether what I chose to do would help me get closer to my ideal future self. The other day, I had a barbecue with friends at a park, and though I was super busy keeping the fire going for us to cook food on the stove, I noticed that I was just having fun speaking to my friends in Japanese and English. Then I remember thinking that this moment is exactly what I wanted for a long time. I mean, obviously, I was born and raised in Japan, so I speak Japanese, but I dreamed about being able to speak English fluently and having ordinary conversations with people that I loved since I began studying this language in junior high school. It took me so many years, but I made my dream come true. So I would say this is proof to you that I know what I'm talking about in terms of making good decisions in life. Well, I've always thought of making decisions in life as moving your chess pieces on a chessboard. If you keep making good moves, not only it would help you achieve your goals, but also leave you with a variety of options to tackle challenges and obstacles that life throws at you. This is why I believe that making good decisions is important, and I would love to share with you some of the key elements that have been helping me make those decisions. Imagine what it's going to be like in the near future. When I got into junior high school in Japan, my ability to foresee the future became stronger and stronger. I happened to go to school where my junior high school was connected to high school, so I guess it was easy for me to see what my future was going to be like by observing all the students around me. Every year, some students in the final year of school would speak to us at the assembly and give us some advice for the younger students. In my first year, I heard them talking about how they wished that they had begun studying earlier so that they could prepare better for their university entrance exams. The second year, I heard exactly the same thing, and I thought that I would probably be exactly the same as those older students if I stayed in the school without any specific goals. I mean, I believe humans are good at learning from their own mistakes and doing better in the future, but we can be quite bad at learning from the advice of others who have already experienced it because we don't physically or emotionally feel the pain or struggles that come with it, if that makes sense. Anyway, when things feel repetitive, like my older students talking about their regrets, friends talking about their same New Year resolutions, or colleagues complaining about their work every time we see each other, I instantly think that I would exactly be like them in the future. When I experience this repetitiveness, unless it feels good for me, I tend to leave the place to find something better for myself, and I have been operating this way for a long time. At the time, my passion to learn English became so significant that I decided to leave school and pursue something different by studying abroad by myself in New Zealand at the age of 15. I can say that it is one of the best decisions that I have ever made in my life. What do you choose to take and sacrifice? A person who cannot sacrifice everything cannot change anything. This is a quote from Attack on Titan that got stuck with me for a long time. When we choose to do something, there's always an opportunity cost. Therefore, we always need to think if it would be worth sacrificing what we have in order to pursue what we want. My sacrifice for studying abroad in New Zealand was clearly the time with my family and friends in Japan. Luckily, I happened to be a person who barely hung out with my friends outside school, but I felt really sad about not being able to spend time with my family. However, the possibility of me not learning anything specific during my time at school terrified me even more because I noticed the pattern in my school life where I studied just to get high scores for my exams and forgot about everything that I learned a few days later. Although the first few years in New Zealand were tough, I knew I had made the right decision when I went back to my home once a year because the time that I could get to spend with my family felt more valuable and stronger than ever before. That was when I learned that we often take people around us for granted because they're literally around us all the time. But once we leave the room, that's when we realize how precious it is to have those people in our lives And as for me, knowing that I could spend a limited amount of time with them made me become more present when I interacted with them, if that makes sense. Start making decisions as early as possible. A lot of motivational speakers or self-help books may tell you that you can make decisions and take action that would help you improve your life at any point in your life. But I prefer a bit more realistic approach to this and tell you that yes, it is not impossible to make great decisions when you're older, but say you're not satisfied with your life over 30 years old with your partner and kids to look after. It is obviously harder to shift your life towards something different, especially when the issue is your job that supports the family, for instance. In this case, teenagers or people in their 20s who are single would be able to make decisions to change their lives easier than in the former scenario. This is why I would love to suggest making decisions as early as possible. You're never too late to do anything, but realistically, it is easier to take action when you don't have a lot of responsibilities in life. To me, making good decisions means choosing what you feel is right for you at the time, when you need to make the decisions. And it doesn't mean if you make those decisions, they would be perfect or give you an easy ride to your goals. In fact, I feel like when you make good decisions, you would face a lot of setbacks and challenges because when you want something bad, they take so much time to acquire and are hard to come by. However, you can walk through them because you're the one who is responsible for making them come true. The way my mom raised me was apparently that she didn't want to be blamed for the decisions that she would make for me. So instead, she let me make decisions because this way she can always be like, okay, you're not happy with your decision, but you decided to do it. So how are you going to deal with it? I feel like this is such an unusual way of parenting, especially for Asians, because we are traditionally known to shape our kids' lives for them by telling them who and what they need to be from a young age. But as a result, this rather bizarre way of parenting taught me to think a lot. And if I'm not happy with where I am or who I am, then I am the one to create changes and work hard for better outcomes. We always get a tremendous amount of advice, perspectives, and choices from other people on what we should do, believe, who we need to be, etc. in our lives as we grow up. However, I always hope that you know you're the one choosing what you want and don't want in your life, and not follow those just because they asked you or told you so.